Welcome to show 43 of the Cloth Diaper podcast. My name is Bailey, and today's show is with a special guest. A local cloth diaper mom has come into the studio to talk about all things cloth diapering. We're going to talk about mostly the cloth diaper community, the online community, and making those important relationships that are really going to help you in your cloth diaper journey. Wow, it's been 2 months since the last podcast, and that has been a long time. Probably one of my longest breaks. And not because I didn't have content to share with you, but because I needed a lot of space to grieve. When coronavirus hit at the middle of March there, it kind of felt like my whole world fell apart. There's a lot of things that I have been working really hard towards that just disintegrated in front of me. And like many of you listening, I really needed to take some time to grieve the loss of what was and kind of start coming to terms with what is. And what is the return of my life as a stay-at-home mom, something that if you know my story personally, you know I have been working really hard to get out of. But here we are. Thankfully, it is summertime, and we are less than 2 weeks away from the Flats and Hand Washing Challenge. So I'm trying to get my buns back in gear and get back to creating and promoting content here on the Cloth Diaper Podcast. So if you don't know me already, my name is Bailey. I am the host of the Cloth Diaper Podcast. I'm a mom blogger from Simply Mom Bailey. Why do I always choke up on this section? And I have 2 young kids. They are now ages 3 and almost 5, so I'm no longer cloth diapering, but I'm still passionate about telling and promoting cloth diaper stories. So the Cloth Diaper Podcast for the last 40-some shows has been sharing stories from around the world about cloth diapering from different people. And today I have a local mom. So Katie was in my studio way back in January, and we recorded this together. It was such an incredible experience, and I felt really bad that I had never really met her before. And honestly, I also haven't followed up again with her, so I'll have to do that. I'm sure that many of you guys know you only have so much that you can do, and sometimes you begin to feel a little tapped out. So really, if you're listening to this show, I want you to remember to take time for yourself right now. I want you to also remember that a lot has changed in the world. I haven't listened to the show since, and I haven't listened to the show yet, despite the fact that I'm recording. I usually record this little intro and then add the show. Nonetheless, that's all stuff you don't need to know. I do have some more exciting shows coming up for you in June and July. I've been contacted by a cloth diaper rental company. We did an interview, and also this really cool 3-in-1 wash thing. Anyways, I'm going to talk to Nick from that Nolio later. But yeah, so enjoy this conversation. I had a lot of fun with it. And if you're interested in the Flats and Hand Washing Challenge, check out one of my older episodes from last year, which I did with the Cloth Diaper Revival to talk about the Flats and Hand Washing Challenge. That's a really great post to just show 28 to learn about it. And then you can go to clothdiaperpodcast.com/Flats Challenge, and there's even more information, including how to register. And this year I've really removed a lot of the rules from the Flats Challenge because I wanted to try to make it really simple and really accessible to parents. So yeah. All right. That's enough rambling for today. Let's get to my conversation. Bye.
I'm Kate. I have 1 8-month-old son, and I also live in Prince George. And while I was falling down the cloth diapering rabbit hole, I found your blog, which is like, oh my gosh, this person lives in the same city. That is so helpful. Their advice is probably going to be super applicable. And then I also found Susie's blog, which same deal. Like, okay, I'm spoiled. I have these 2 blogs that are overrunning with enthusiasm for cloth diapers and have so much advice, but such a gentle tone that this is what worked for us. It may or may not work for you. I've heard this to be helpful. And so even before my baby's born, I have this groundwork of, okay, that's what a cloth diaper is. It's not like this thing filed back in the back of my mind. Like I'd filed them back in my mind as like kind of like corsets or petticoats. I don't have any really little brothers or really little cousins, so all of my baby knowledge is very abstract before I had my baby.
I can't believe you had them in the same category as corsets. Like, you really dated them as something that was... So then how did you even get there from this really, what you thought was antiquated to... being a cloth diaper mom?
All right, so like in late second trimester, you know that in BC we have that Baby's Best Chance manual that's kind of like a beginner's guide for babies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I work in healthcare, and that's one that we like hand out to parents like every time you see someone who even like might have a positive pregnancy test, essentially. And so like I'm sitting there, I'm reading this cover to cover because like if I'm handing this out, I should actually know what's in it and also know my stuff. And like in the diapering section, just in one of the little sidebars, what to do about rashes, and like the last sentence is like, if your baby has lots of problems with rashes, consider cloth diapering.
Oh, really?
And then it just twigged in my brain. Oh yeah, that's a thing that happens, which is hilarious because my husband, like his hobby is like, in case the world blows up, being ready for that. And we were going, what do we do if we can't get diapers? Like, if there's no more Costco, and we were thinking like, do you do cradle boards? Do you just like buy a puppy mat? And I can't believe that's where our brains went.
So you really like had absolutely zero foundation.
So I literally Googled how to cloth diaper, and the first things that came up were like 5 or so really enthusiastic blogs with these pretty pictures of these adorable diapers, and okay, down the rabbit hole we go.
Yeah. So your baby's 8 months. Okay, so just in the last year or two. So pretty recent. I was just like trying to date you in like what era of cloth diapering knowledge you came into. Because if we look at like cloth diaper blogs, there's all sorts of different eras. So did your family like get excited or not?
Like apparently my mom cloth diapered me. No idea whatsoever. I mean,
did we really talk about how we diaper?
No, that's like not something
20 years later.
No, it's not something most 16-year-olds go up and ask their mom, like, Mom, what brand of diapers did you put me in?
No, it's not a conversation. I mean, I have younger siblings, so I kind of knew because my brother was cloth diapered partially, and then my mom gave up. But if you don't have younger siblings, like, you definitely wouldn't have any of that influence. Okay, so you've started cloth diapering. What does your stash look like?
Oh, gosh. Well, right now, like, for overnights, I found another local mom in Prince George who had her baby in Lily and Frank diapers, and I went, those are so cute.
We've had Heather on the show too. Yeah, those are such great diapers.
Yeah, episode 40, and so like fell down the rabbit hole hard. That's what we use every night overnight, and then like our daytime stash is a pretty big hodgepodge because like you're on the Facebook market and you're going, okay, well maybe this fits a little better. I've always wanted to try that. So like there's 4 or 5 different types in there. Like a big favorite's Easy Peasies because I love their prints. Like my mom picked up a bundle of Apple Cheeks when she found out we were going to cloth diaper, and then there's a whole bunch of like Velcro tab ones we picked up used. And they're all pockets, and that kind of works well for us because I'm so lucky. I actually have family and friends that are not shy about changing a diaper. If my husband thinks that the baby needs a change, he just goes and does it. If he's hanging out with his grandma, she just goes and changes it, which is handy because then like I don't have to give them a lecture on like he pees more in the morning, but he sometimes poops then and then, so you should use this diaper or this diaper or this diaper. I can just stuff them in advance as he grows and as his needs change, and they can just grab one and slap it on him, and I don't have to be all like micromanaging. It's
so nice to see that when people like they don't like get all up in your face about it, and they're like, whatever, I'll just change the diaper no matter what it is.
Yeah,
because some people are not like that. I think the next podcast I have an interview with Eliza at the end of the month, that was her biggest struggle. She's going to talk with us about how she got through that, but like the people in her life were really anti-cloth, and that really was hard. So it's really awesome when people are not anti-cloth. Yeah, that's really awesome. And then what was my thought there? So you have a little bit of everything, but what is your favorite in your little bit of everything?
Oh,
I should
gosh.
make you choose a favorite. Like, what's your favorite? Are they all different styles? I mean, which one do you reach for the most, and which one do you leave on the cart at the end of, like, the last one that you get?
Gosh. Well, right now, the ones that are making me go, no, you can't spend all of your money on diapers are the Lily and Franks and the Easy Peasies, just because I love the prints. I'm very much like the you need another cute bum.
That's fair.
And the ones that I don't reach for as much, we do have the covers and inserts that you just put in there. I don't use those as much because they're more of the plain ones, and I'm all like, you need a pretty bum, but they're so handy. But yeah, I think the covers and inserts, we just save those for when we're traveling. Those are really handy because it's way less space.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so the one that when you emailed me, you wanted to talk about local cloth diapering. And then I felt really awkward and embarrassed because I actually didn't recognize your name. And then I was like, she wants to talk about local cloth diapering, but I don't know who she is. So then I felt really bad.
Oh gosh,
that I wasn't local enough, that I hadn't been in your circle. So tell me about this question that you had, the value of having a local. So how did you find your local cloth diaper community?
Oh gosh, so that was like, I was literally just going, okay, I think I want to give cloth diapering a try. I don't have $1 billion to buy everything. Let's Google around. Where's a good place to find used cloth diapers? Oh, there's a Prince George cloth diaper buy and sell for used diapers. This is handy. Off we go. And
so what does local community... So it's just like, you felt that we have a really strong buy and sell community here in town, that you kind of get that kind of support and advice that you needed.
Yeah, and like, how dare you not know every single mother in this city of 75?
I'm pretty active online, so I'm like, ooh, that's kind of my domain. Like we do, and to find those spaces though, like it feels, I think a lot of moms, they come to me and they're like, it's really hard to find local. But first you gotta look. And, like, it's as simple as putting in your city. Like, is that what you did? Or did you ask in another group? Did you put your city in cloth diapers or something?
Yeah, I think I just, like, in Facebook, just, like, Googled Prince George cloth diaper or something along those lines.
Yeah, and then we come up as, like, I think it's the Prince George and area cloth swap is the term. But you'll see all sorts of different terms. Like, some people will call it, like, cloth diapers. Some people will call it fluff. Some people will... You just use lots of different terminology, I guess is what I'm trying to tell the listener on the other end. And what was my other thought that I had there? Oh, if you don't have a space, you can make one, guys. Anybody can make a Facebook group. I used to think that only certain people in the world can make Facebook groups, like community leaders or like people with weird sense of power, but anybody can do it. So like if you don't have anything, you guys can just like create one and make friends.
Well, it's like that phrase, like, you fake it until you become it. How does someone become a community leader? You just kind of just go, okay, this thing doesn't exist. I'd like it to exist. Leroy Jenkins, let's do this.
Exactly. Like, and you might be surprised when you get the ball rolling, how many other people randomly show up that you didn't know, like Kate sitting in front of me, who I didn't really know, but you're here in town, and you're like outside, and this is real, so you're a real person. And I met with a woman last week, and she also cloth diapers too. And I also never knew that. I didn't know her.
Yeah, and it's funny, like whenever I go to a mom group, like a breastfeeding drop-in or like a story time, I'll usually see like at least one or two other moms who are also cloth diapering. And then it's kind of like an instant friendship, like, oh my gosh, show and tell. Let me see. Oh, they're so cute.
My babies are now older than your babies, which makes me feel old, but I'm not. But it's been 4 years, so like when Walter was born, we saw a lot of moms with cloth diapers at mom group. Like, a lot. A lot of my friends also stopped cloth diapering. Okay, got it.
For me, that's the biggest factor. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, hey? Have you ever, do you ever meet with other cloth diaper moms in real life? Like, have any of those times where you've met a mom at a mom group, has that, like, blossomed into any friendships for you?
Yeah, it totally has. Like, for the one mom who introduced me to Lily and Frank, like we share pictures of her diaper stash every once in a while. And like another mom who I met through knitting, not a mom thing at all, but like she's cloth diapering now too, and so I get to play show and tell with her also. And yeah, there's
a lot of your even offline and online relationships are blossoming offline, which is really incredible.
Totally.
I get this question a lot, is that people don't know how to make mom friends. What would your advice? Like, how did you make these mom friends? What happened?
Yeah, I guess, gosh, back when I was 18, like, I read this book on, like, dating, and it said something along the lines of, a Prince Charming is not going to go up to your door and knock and sweep you away in a limousine. If you want to meet men, you have to go where the men are. And
I love it! Oh my gosh, I love it! I love it.
And it's kind of a similar thing. Like, if you want to meet other mums, it's just kind of a matter of, like, you go where the other mums are, and if you just show up, then you have the chances. Like, we go to the baby drop-ins at the library, we go to the breastfeeding drop-ins all over town, and, like, you're not necessarily going to, like, lock eyes with someone across the room and just feel a connection and you've made a BFF forever on your first occasion, but, like, it gives you those openings, it gives you those chances.
That's exactly, like, what I also tell people. Like, and the first time is going to be the worst. Like, you might not meet anybody the first time, but if you keep going, and you keep going, eventually you'll be like, oh yeah, I saw her the last 3 times. Maybe I'll sit beside her this time. And maybe the 5th time you'll have a conversation, and then 3 years later, she never leaves your house.
Yeah.
Like, it's a slow process. And it is exactly like dating.
Yeah, and it's handy because, like, you have a ready-made topic of conversation, babies, parenting, and if you forget their name or their baby's name, it's cool because we're all mums and we're all tired.
Oh my gosh.
And we've all met 50 other people this week.
Because, so I do hike at Baby in town as well.
Nice.
Everybody knows me. But because I meet like a dozen moms for the first time every time, and they're all meeting me and they just remember my name because I'm the leader, I never remember their name. But yeah, you can just totally blame it on baby brain, and usually they'll say their children's name and you'll be like, oh, she's so-and-so. And you can strike up a conversation without remembering someone's name. You don't need names. But yeah, I always recommend like exactly that. Like, keep showing up and keep being present. And also, my other biggest thing is like, so a couple of the moms that I met, I used to go to breastfeeding group here in town all the time. A couple of the moms that I met there, I can remember coming home to my husband and being like, she is I don't like her. She comes over every week now, and we are great friends, and our kids don't get along. Like, those first impressions that you have of people can sometimes be like totally wrong. And like, you can judge people and like really not like them, but that doesn't mean they're not a potential friend. If you keep showing up and you keep kind of being involved in your life, eventually like friendships do get made. Like, it's not easy and it's kind of messy. And like, my best friend from university, I hated her guts, and I was like, no way do I ever want her. And like, we were bridesmaids at each other's wedding, and I can't imagine living without her. Aww. She's just like, so for me, a lot of first impressions are like, I got to ignore that, because those little thoughts that I have in my head about a person, those prejudgments are like totally false about who they are. Yeah, and that's something that I think I'm only just learning now, and I'm the opposite. I'm like, I can find something to like about her. See, I'm really negative sometimes. I'm like, I don't like that person. Yeah, but they're really awesome. Yeah, but then the moment like we disagree about something, or like there's an angry moment, I'd go, oh no, I've wrecked this friendship forever. But no, that's not the attitude. It's not like you fight with your spouse once and no, time for a divorce. Like, no, it's like, it's more of like, you like each other enough to flesh out your differences, and you like each other so much that you want to keep knowing each other despite that. And then you've grown for having like had this person make you think different. Yeah, and that's like probably one of the hardest challenges a lot of people have with making mom friends, is they'll be like, well, they disposable diaper, or they formula feed, or they do this. They're so different than I am. But those are like amazing things, because they are able to teach you so much. And friendships aren't based on the fact that we cloth diaper together. That can be like the starting conversation, and everything after that is just extras. Like, our parenting values don't have to align to be friends, but they definitely can help us grow as people. Yeah, like, it's that overarching principle of like, are your kids alive and happy at the end of the day? Yeah. Common ground. We both want those things. Yeah, and like, if you just continue to show up in their life and be friendly, that really can make a difference. I was talking about social media with a friend yesterday, and that's the same principle about making friends on social media. You just have to show up, be genuinely friendly and authentic with them, and be interested in their life and want to know more about them. But yeah, making mom friends can be really intimidating, but you just have to show up one day.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna miss a lot of my mom friends when I go back to work because then it's already hard enough because no, sorry, my baby's napping. No, he's grumpy because he's teething, and then you got to throw work into it too. But that's all friendships. Even when your best friend from high school has moved 15 hours away, you make the effort when you can.
Yeah, and as a stay-at-home mom, I found that transition, you guys going back to work, really hard. So I was now where do I meet them? What do I do? Who am I friends with? All my friends went back to work, but there's still lots of time to hang out. And even if we hang out once a month, then we're still good. Yeah,
quality, not quantity. Someone I haven't seen in 5 years, you catch them for lunch for one afternoon, you treasure that 1 hour that you had.
Yeah, is exactly it. Okay, so what is your biggest piece of advice for moms interested in cloth diapering? So if we got to tie this all back, guys. We're going to swap gears again. We talk about motherhood and friendships, which is a really great conversation, even though it's not cloth diaper related. I guess it kind of is. But if we talk about going back to cloth diapering, what's your biggest cloth diaper advice for people?
Oh, gosh. If it's what cloth diapers are the best and which one to pick, they're all the best. And they're all a little different, and you're not even necessarily going to know which ones fit you best, your baby best, or your life best. Just pick a few of each kind that you like the print of. Find the used ones, mix and match. Well, it's just buying yourself a pair of pants. You're not going to go, I will only wear Wrangler jeans in size 12 for the rest of my life.
Well, my husband only wears Costco jeans, so baby. Allow a little flexibility in your life, guys.
Yeah, he might have some dress pants, if he has to go to a wedding or something.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah. He does have alternative pants.
And yeah, having that variety is great because then you have your choices and you have your leeway to experiment. And oh gosh, and the other big point, if you have a local community or a blog that's close by to you, giving a read through those so you kind of know, okay, these are the common pitfalls. This is how to avoid them. I think a big reason that my family's been so successful with cloth diapering so far is that I had your blog and I had Susie's blog to do my research beforehand, and I wasn't just going in blind, having to reinvent the wheel for everything.
And that's really great advice. And there's not a lot of cloth diaper bloggers out there specifically, but if you can find women in your area who are writing or sharing their experience, because our water here is really awesome. And so Susie and I have given advice that works for us, that works here. And I know that advice doesn't work for other moms in other areas if they have a lot softer water, or they have really hard water, or their pH is a little funny. And that's why I have this podcast, so that I can talk with other moms from around the world to talk about what their routines look like and what that really means for them. But yeah, definitely reaching out to those local mentors and figuring out what's going on for them. Because before, so you came in just as Cozy Bumps had closed.
And I'm so sad that by the time my baby was born and by the time we were getting into cloth diapering, I was Googling cloth diaper services, cloth diaper stores, and I wish I'd been around in their heyday when I could have gone and seen them. That would have been so fun.
Because Carrie was, as the local cloth diaper store, she and Susie both had a ton of information when it came to cloth diapering in the north. Because they had problem solved with people who had lived in Salmon Valley. The water is hard as rocks out there, which you guys listening have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's north of town. It's north of town. That's a lot of power in local is you can ask people okay, well, my water is doing this, or my machine is doing this, and what have you done to overcome it? And they already have, a lot of times we don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? We can reach out to people who kind of problem solved along the way and figured it out. Which, I say this, and I've also talked to a lot of moms here on the show who don't have any local communities at all. And just keep puttering along, guys. You're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like some of us are really lucky. There's pretty active community up here in the north. A little bit dying down. I'd say we're like almost like this is another thought to add to this conversation is that cloth diaper communities really ebb and flow. So people have babies and like there's a leader or people who are active and then those babies grow out of diapers and they kind of like fade off. And sometimes if there's not an incoming group of people, especially online communities can begin to look like they're dying. I see that happen in a lot of groups. Mm-hmm. But you can kind of bring them back. It's just like a matter of just acknowledging the fact that like people come in and out of this cycle of cloth diapering. Don't be afraid to be a leader in your community. Like if you wanted to be more active online, you could. Like you can show up in whatever ways you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had some like good do's and don'ts in there that were pretty in your email to me.
Man, I can't find this email that Kate is talking about. So this is what's going on, guys. She's saying I had some great ideas, and now I don't know what they are. So what are your great ideas about cloth diaper do's and don'ts?
Yeah, well, a lot of basics were, like, I think pretty self-evident, like, be supportive and, like, be honest. Like, if you're selling diapers, don't mark them as excellent, and then they're actually, like, no elastics, and the mice have chewed through them.
Yeah. And I mistakenly once sold wool to somebody, and they got it, and they were like, it has holes in it, Bailey, and I was, like, mortified. And she sent me the pictures, and there were, and it had just been sitting on the shelf, and I just, like, packaged it up and sent it off. And so in those situations, like, really, like, it's okay, own your responsibility. So I just sent her money back. I was like, don't worry about sending them to me. If you want to repair them, but I'll give you your money back. End of conversation. Because, like, I obviously didn't look over the product before I sent it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't do that, you just have to make sure you step up and correct your mistake, right? Like,
kind of what I feel like the local community, it lives or dies based on like the enthusiasm people are bringing to it. And if someone's all like, cloth diapers, yeah, and they buy some used ones and then they get them and they're like, oh, I'm sad, these suck, then like that's killing off the enthusiasm. Like if you're not sure if something is this good used condition or fair used condition, like maybe better to err on the side of caution, like list it as fair, and then if someone picks them up and they go, oh, these are better off than I thought they might be. What a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. And I think thinking about your do's and don'ts is like, don't be my way or the highway. Like that kind of attitude kind of kills the internet. I think when you're saying, I really talk a lot about saying, in my experience, this works for me. And I think that works, something that we should all be saying across motherhood. It's not like, the only way to cloth diaper is this, or the best cloth diaper is this, or it's like, you need to own your experiences when you're online with people, and that can really help encourage other people to step up to the plate and talk. Because if they feel like there's only one way to do it, and like Bailey, the admin, is going to get mad at them when they suggest other ideas, then nobody's ever going to talk. And sometimes I do get mad at people. I also admin all those groups. Because they come at it with this idea of like, this is the only way. You must do this. And it's like, can you just be nicer about it and suggest, this is what worked for me last time I had that problem? Like, I feel that's the biggest thing missing from online communities is this, like, acknowledgement of our personal journey and what works for us instead of setting rules. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and, like, just that, keeping in mind that general tenet of, like, motherhood is hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's really hard. Mm-hmm. Like, you raise Susie and you think you did great, but then Bobby's born and he's a totally different person.
Every single
nothing
time.
That you know works on him.
No, right? Every single time. Yeah, that's just like, everything is such ebb and flow. And that's why I think like we really need to own our experiences as like our own and not things that rule out the world. I was talking with Jennifer from All About Cloth Diapers this morning. That's exactly what we were kind of. And show up. I think we talked about this in the offline, like how to make mom friends offline. If you want to make mom friends online, you also need to show up. So wherever you want to make those mom friends, you need to be showing up. So if you want to make mom friends in the cloth diaper swap groups here local, just keep posting and talking and talk about your cloth diaper experience, and other people will show up. Mm-hmm. If you keep going to mom group, other people will show up. Eventually, you'll build those connections.
Yeah, like I remember, like when my baby was 2 days old, we went to a breastfeeding drop-in to get some help because, like, okay, it's that first night of at home. Yeah. You're trying to get him to latch, but it's like, why won't these two like go together? And he's screaming, and we're frustrated, and eventually you make it happen. So go to get some help the next day, and like you see all these other mums and their babies are playing, and you're all like, I don't know, this is a great big room full of strangers. Yay, my baby's eating, I got some help, but kind of feel awkward. But then on the other hand, it's nice to see how these mums are interacting with their babies. Like, not like they're made out of China and they're gonna break at any second.
Yeah.
And but then now that my baby's older and I'm the one where he's playing on the floor and the new mums with the newborns are all over on the couches, like my mind frame is more, they're trying to figure out how to feed their baby. They don't need me to jump up in their face, be all like, hey! Like, unless they're obviously like looking over and like looking like they want someone to talk to. It's kind of a like read the room type thing when you have the energy. Some days you're just tired and you just need to bring your baby somewhere so they can be happy, and that's okay too.
Yeah, sometimes, and it's okay to talk about off-topic things and talk about on-topic things and talk about all those whatever kind of thing you want to talk about. Like, sometimes people just want to sit with other people too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, I can remember just like missing people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I even missed people over my last surgery.
Yeah. And that's an awkward state in motherhood sometimes. Like, you're desperate for social contact, but you're too tired to people in an intelligent way.
Yeah. So you just like, you need to like leave the house, but you don't want to talk to anybody. I mean, and then you find friends who can do that.
Yeah.
Right? You can find people who also want that in life. They just want to sit together awkwardly. And that's fine. I think a lot of motherhood and a lot of meeting people locally is awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Is totally stressing about you coming over today because it's like, well, I'm like a high anxiety person. I was just like, nobody's ever come here. I didn't even sweep the floors.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, I hope it's not.
I saw you creeping outside for 5 minutes.
Well, I didn't want to be all like, "Hey, I'm early," and too bad if you didn't put your kids to nap yet because they're being kids.
That's true.
I think one of the coolest things about cloth diapering, like, is it reminded me of when I was first getting into knitting. It's that feeling of like you're just getting.
As
into
I hold
a
up knitting
hobby.
needle, like of all the things.
Yeah,
in my life.
I remember getting into that and just like falling in love with yarn and wanting to buy all the yarn and having a huge stash. And it was the same deal for cloth diapering. Want all the diapers, want this huge stash. And I was thinking, why does this feel so similar, this falling in love type thing? And I think it's like, whether you're holding a ball of yarn or you're holding a cloth diaper, you're holding something that's beautiful, but it's also so practical, and it's like a physical manifestation of your love and your intentions towards someone. You want to do the best by your baby. You want to knit someone a warm hat. Yeah, like you're using your wits and this beautiful Marie Kondo-worthy object to do something nice for someone you love.
Yeah, that's really it. Like, we're doing something for someone we really love, and it's like all sorts of love. For some people, like, I mean, love for our child, and it's love for our families as we budget, and it's love for the environment as we reduce our waste, and it's just like this very sacrificial, is that the right word? Love, like, act, like we going out of our way to do something really awesome for people.
Yeah, or maybe not even sacrificial, but just like, it's a physical symbol of something deeper. Like, you take your kids for a walk in the woods, and it's a symbol of, I want this earth to be here for you in the future, and I want you to have these healthy exercise and mental health skills that all of these woods help you have.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. All right. Anything else? I think that's about it. Are you online? People follow you? No? Yes?
No, okay. I'm not online anywhere. Cool. I am not an online guru. I'm just here to like, I'm working on my people skills. I'm working on getting out of my shell.
Sometimes scattered conversations is what ends up. So Kate and I had a great conversation about cloth diaper community, about making mom friends, and I hope that maybe it has some added value to you. These are questions that I do get a lot of the time about how to make something and be something. And there are a lot of cloth diaper communities out there on the internet, and sometimes they can be very overwhelming because there are cool kids and cliques and mean girls and all of that jazz that exists online and offline. My best advice to you is to be calm and be safe and be kind, in the words of Dr. Bonnie Henry. But most importantly, just be authentically yourself. And you don't have to play with the mean girls. You don't have to play with the cliques. And you can create your own safe places for cloth diaper community and friendship. Cloth diaper community and friendship often begins through local connections, and it does exist in both the cloth diaper conversations we have and the non-cloth diaper conversations. So just put yourself out there. You don't have to be super personal. You don't have to be super sharing pictures of your kids and share every detail of your life to make friends and find friends in the cloth diaper community. You can gush about other things and talk about other things. So you can share your fluff mail, your on the butts. You can share your favorite cloth diaper pictures. You can share about your struggles. You can also share about your successes. The thing about finding community both online and offline, both as a person and even if you are a brand or a content creator, is that this content comes from a place of two-way relationship skills. So I know that Kate talked about showing up. Well, not only do you need to show up and go where the men are or go where the moms are, but you also need to have those conversations back. So when someone posts a picture about their favorite cloth diapers, that you also say, I love that print, or I haven't tried that. You say something. That two-way dialogue, that is an important part to this puzzle. So as you're going out there and you're looking for community and you're looking to build these relationships, two-way dialogue is one area that you can start this conversation. I really enjoyed my day with Kate. I know I introduced her as Katie, but her name is Kate. She is training to be a doctor here in Prince George, British Columbia, and her son will now be probably 10, 11 months, almost a year as I drop this podcast, show 43 here. There will be more podcasts this summer, and if you want to be on the Cloth Diaper podcast, email me. Things are a little bit crazy and up in the air right now because I don't have reliable childcare. Thank you, coronavirus. But things are happening. If you love the show, be sure to leave a comment or review wherever you listen to the Cloth Diaper podcast. And you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and www.clothdiaperpodcast.com. Thanks so much for taking the time today to listen, and until 2 more weeks. Bye.